Welcome back to the Mustache Multiverse, your one-stop shop for superheroes, movies, and more. Once again, I'm Sam,
And I'm Alex.
and we are your friendly neighborhood hosts through this multiverse. So let's dive in with our topic today.
Yeah, we got a few things to talk about today. We are coming off of the heels of Spider-Man Brand New Day. First of all, let me just say, box office numbers are looking sensational. Already at like 1.6, 1.7 billion in the first 2 weeks.
I feel like you might have this. You called two very early on. I feel like we are well on our way to pass two.
Yeah, and I think you have to do like something crazy, like shave your head and your eyebrows if it hits 2 billion or something. There was some bet. I don't know exactly what it
Do you
was.
really not remember?
Is it the jean jacket, the all denim outfit?
Full denim, yeah.
Full denim at Doomsday. Right. All right. Well, other news, we got D23 coming up at the end of this week. So I figured we could go through, give a little breakdown of what we're expecting from D23. Then the Lanterns is also dropping. So we'll switch gears, talk about DC for a little bit. And then we're also very excited. We have some potential Jean Grey storylines that the MCU could adapt in their upcoming Mutant Saga. And we'll go through the top 4, which Sam has called the
Fantastic Four.
Don't know how he does it, ladies and gentlemen. What a great name for something. We got the Fantastic Four Jean Grey storylines to adapt in the MCU. We're going to break those all down. But first, D23. A lot of people are speculating this is where we get the official announcements for X-Men casting.
I would love that. We've seen a lot of exciting news recently. I know we've talked like there's new casting for Emma Frost, there's new casting for Cyclops, so there's a lot of X-Men casting happening right now. It's just not in the schedule. I know you and I have poured over the D23 schedule looking for a place that they're going to put in some Marvel news. Right now, the only real space they have is something called Marvel Fanfare, which is the first thing that happens on the first day in one of their convention halls. So it really feels like it's not one of those like late in the afternoon panels. Maybe we're more used to seeing of something like large happening, but it's first thing in the day. Maybe this is what's happening, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot of room for Marvel left in D23 right now.
I guess, the question there is, like, do they need to announce the X-Men stuff now? Like, we already are focusing on Doomsday at the moment. I think they might be thinking that it's all about Doomsday right now. Let's keep the focus where it should be. We'll worry about announcing the X-Men officially later. People can speculate and report on these rumors that they hear online about casting, but we'll leave that to the speculation, and we're all in on Doomsday at the moment.
To me, I agree with you. Like, because if you just cast Cyclops and Emma Frost, then they're not going to be in Doomsday. We kind of know that the filming is already kind of wrapping up on that. But
plus, we got James Marsden, so we don't need another Cyclops.
I've been saying this, dude. Why do we need another Cyclops? James Marsden is perfect. But my concern is, if we don't stoke the flames of Doomsday here, when are we going to do it between now and December? We really need to have something now, because we don't have another opportunity. San Diego Comic-Con is already over, which was great. This is your last big shot before really December, when we're going to have the product itself. Mm-hmm. So when are you going to release another trailer? When are you going to release more big news than right now?
Yeah, I feel like we might get a trailer that just like releases online around D23, or like they just call it like the D23 trailer, but it's basically just what they showed at Comic-Con that's already been leaked online. Like they already have that ready to go. If that's the only other piece of Doomsday content that we get before now in Doomsday, I don't love that. I feel like we got some hype when they released the first trailer. We got some hype from Comic-Con, but we're still 5 months out from the movie. Like we need more pieces to pick up. And Spider-Man Brand New Day, spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen it yet, skip ahead like 10 seconds. They don't really connect anything to Doomsday besides a potential connection in the post-credit scene that could be Doomsday related or not.
Completely agree. And we don't have another like big movie, because that's what I'm thinking of as well. As like D23 conventions are really your big spotlight for just you, Marvel, to put your best face forward. But you've also got other large movies that you can kind of tag something onto as far as a trailer goes. You know, everybody's going to go see this movie, put a huge trailer in front of it. Usually happens with like Marvel content. We usually see like with Avatar, you can typically get like a big Marvel trailer because it's Disney IP. I don't think we have another one of those coming up anytime soon. We just had Toy Story 5, another big like Disney thing. I don't see another big Disney product that they're going to put an Avengers level trailer on.
Feels like you're really disrespecting Vision Quest here, man.
And I mean it. And I'm doing it. It's on purpose.
What do you got against Paul Bettany, dude?
All of the Vision Quest fandom, I'd love to hear from you.
You think?
Hit me up.
I think there's probably like 2.
I'd love to hear from them both.
Yeah, you know what? Let us know down below if you are excited for Vision Quest, because that's another thing we have no trailer for, no information on, and that comes out in like 2 months.
Right, like I can't be excited for it without something to be excited for. We have no idea where he is right now. It's something that we'll
And
probably
how?
end up speculating on, but we have nothing to go off of at this time.
Yeah, that's what, like 3 years ago that WandaVision came out, maybe more,
There was a
maybe
great
4 years.
podcast that covered some of that stuff too. Hero Theory back in the day. I thought they did a great job.
Oh, dude, I remember Hero Theory. They were iconic.
Yeah, really good.
When those Marvel TV shows are coming out, their weekly episode breakdowns, elite. All right, so probably not much going on at D23, unfortunately, for Marvel. I know a lot of people are speculating what we might get, but like you said, the schedule doesn't align with those speculations. I don't know.
I'd love to be surprised, and I'm open. I like they can do that, but usually we have at least something like on the schedule for us to be excited.
Yeah. All right. How about the lanterns? How about something we can get excited for DC for once?
I
Finally.
love the Green Lantern comic books. I'm a big Green Lantern fan, so I love it anytime that they're on TV. I think it's going to be very cool. We don't often get two lanterns or multiple lanterns interacting with each other in a story, especially on TV.
Yeah. And maybe we get 3 lanterns in this.
Well, we have the potential, right? Because we've got Hal and John who are going to be in the story, but we could get Guy from the larger DC to come into here.
Yeah, if they're gonna connect it to Superman and Man of Tomorrow, like we could get some Guy in this, which I thought he was fantastic in Superman, so that'd be great for me.
It's going to depend on the tone for me because Guy was a very specific tone in the Spider-Man or these Superman movies where he's kind of goofy, kind of a joke character. It seems like this one maybe we want to be a little bit more serious with Hal and John. So I don't know how you interface that with Guy, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we will see. I'm excited. That first episode drops next week, I believe, next Monday. So get excited for that. Anything else about Green Lantern?
I can't wait. There's so many cool storylines we can do with Green Lantern in the future. I can't wait to have them in the universe again.
Yeah, it'll be good also for the DCU to like establish another one of their big heroes, you know? Like I know there's a lot of shows and movies that DC is going to be pumping out in the next couple of years that aren't the big heroes. You know, we got Clayface, it's going to be Swamp Thing. There's the Jimmy Olsen show. Like they're pumping out a bunch of these side character things. I think it's good for DC to get into the characters that are going to draw like casual comic book fans into their world.
I also think like these characters have made you money and a company for years and years and years, but yet we don't really tap into their IP. We've done a lot of Superman, we've done a lot of Batman, albeit they are very good, but you have all these other superheroes that have been mainstays for you, made your company what it is, but yet we rarely see them, right? Like even the Flash is not somebody we see on the main screen all that often. There's a lot of great superheroes, Green Lantern being one of the most prominent ones that we don't see very often.
Yeah, very excited for that. All right. Let's move on. Let's get into the main segment, the main event for our show. We got our Fantastic Four lineup of Jean Grey storylines. Yes, very good. Call back to the Avengers. I love it. What?
Avengers?
What?
The Avengers?
Yeah. When the Avengers, 4 of them come in, they sing that song.
It's so frustrating.
You could say that again.
Love that movie.
All right. What is the number one? No, let's start at the other end. What's the 4th most exciting Jean Grey potential storylines? What would you think is the probably bottom of our
the Ben Grimm, if you will?
The Ben Grimm. Yeah, the Ben Grimm. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that now that we have Jean Grey in the MCU officially, which again, spoilers, sorry about it. It's been out. If you're listening to a superhero podcast, I'm pretty sure you probably know this, so I don't feel like...
Dude, I haven't seen Spider-Man yet.
Sorry,
I dodged spoilers for 2 weeks.
You're undodged now. You've been hit by the spoiler. So now that she's here, what do we do with her? There's a lot of exciting things that are happening with the X-Men specifically over this next saga, from what we understand. We don't know a ton yet. It's what we're hoping to hear. But now you have one of the biggest X-Men. What do you do? And there's a lot of great source material for Jean Grey. So we wanted to cover kind of 4 top storylines or top arcs that they could dive into. There's a ton you can do with Jean Grey. These are just 4 that we could see in the near to midterm future for Jean Grey in the comic books or in the MCU now. So for me, the number 4 spot, I think we said was E for Extinction. This is something where we've already got we're trying to pick up on breadcrumbs here, right? We've got some of these breadcrumbs already placed. This is a story where Cassandra Nova, who we've already seen, right? This is a villain that we've already been exposed to.
May or may not be dead, but that doesn't mean universes are being reset. You know, there's timelines.
It's a multiversal event. Who knows? But we're introduced to the threat level that Cassandra Nova is, and I think that that's important. You can start to pull on these strings and bring other people into these movies with you. This could be a way to get Deadpool or Wolverine back together. So Cassandra Nova does an extinction level event for a nation of mutants in the comic books, Genosha. and wipes out almost all of them except for Emma Frost. This is another one we just saw cast. We just saw Emma Frost get cast recently. I don't remember her name. I don't know if you've got that.
Samara Weaving.
So, obviously, a character that they're looking in the future to have heavily involved in the MCU. Is this one of those storylines that she could be involved with? Emma Frost comes in versus Cassandra Nova. Cassandra Nova and her end up fighting. There's some transfers between consciousnesses, which we've seen in Spider Man already between them and Professor Xavier. It just seems like a natural jumping off point for some of the things that we've seen if we're going to put some of these breadcrumbs together of like Emma Frost becoming part of the MCU as well as Cassandra Nova already being a villain.
Yeah, the biggest issue is I feel like that's got to be like later down the line when a nation of mutants exists. Because right now, MCU, we only know of very small number of people classified as mutants. So for that whole nation to exist, it's got to be pretty deep into the comic book run or the run of the MCU. I feel like.
I agree. It's you'd have to find a new jumping off point, and you'd have to find a way to introduce Emma Frost. So that's there are some pieces that are missing still. There are like nations of mutants, right? We have what is Namor's kingdom called, but like Namor's people are all mutants. So this could be something where like Namor gets brought into it. There's pieces in the MCU that have already been laid for this. It's just where do you fit this in?
Is Namor not from Atlantis? Am I bugging?
That was another Disney movie, which was awesome. I don't know if that's going to get into the MCU, but it could.
Okay, where's Namor from?
The city. There's the name of the city.
Atlantis.
Talokan.
Oh yeah. Okay. Could be Atlantis. I don't know. Similar vibes.
Very similar. Less crystals to like activate things, but similar.
I don't know. Who's to say? I haven't been there, so there could be crystals.
Good point.
All right, let's jump into the number 3 spot. I think safely I would put the Planet X storyline in this spot because the other two storylines are just too good to pass up for Marvel. I think the top 2 options that we have on this list are definitely going to happen. The other 2 potentially. So Planet X, basically Magneto returns and he comes back and somehow we talk about jumping in consciousnesses. He takes over the consciousness of a healer and a professor at the school named Zorn. And then he infiltrates the school. He takes over or takes down Charles. And then he connects all the students into Cerebro to kind of make this new world order where the mutants are ruling over the humans, right? So it's pretty big storyline for Magneto, who's always been against the humans and always been on the side of like mutants should be taking over, should be controlling, should be the ones running the planet. So for him to finally like come together, take over, obviously taking over the school, taking over all the students would be something that the X-Men would be like coming in to stop him. We get Jean Grey coming back. If we're talking about post-Phoenix, Jean Grey, like it is in the comic book run, she could use the Phoenix Force to have to stop him, things like that.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see. I mean, Magneto is something that we always like to see on screen. He's played very well every time we've seen him in a different iteration, so I could definitely see them doing a major Magneto storyline. Yeah. So number 2, I think what we all expect to be the biggest thing here is the Dark Phoenix.
Why is it number 2 then? If that's the biggest thing, we'll save that for number 1, the top spot. Let's go number 2, an X-Men versus Avengers cinematic experience on the big screen.
That is going to happen. We've already seen glimpses of it in Doomsday in some regard of X-Men
Doomsday
fighting.
Will be like the teaser to whet your appetite. And then eventually down the line, we will get the full-fledged, full-on X-Men, full-on Avengers, Civil War-esque movie where the stakes are very high.
Is that Battle World, or you think that's further down the line?
I think further down the line because of what we saw in Spider-Man Brand New Day. So again, spoilers abound. If you have dodged the other spoilers that Sam's dropped so far, very rude of him, by the way. Go ahead and skip ahead to the top spot, which actually don't watch that either.
Don't watch that either.
Just close the video if you haven't seen Brand New Day. But in Brand New Day, Peter Parker creates a power suppressing or a gene suppressing nano chip, basically, that suppresses his spider gene. He also makes one that's universal that can basically suppress any kind of genes that he uses on Jean Grey to suppress her powers, right? So talking about potentially bringing in things like the Sentinels into the MCU, we know that Damage Control is already working on these different ways to stop superpowered people. This seems like the next logical step for the guy who's in charge of Damage Control that gets away at the end of the movie.
I know you're talking about
his name.
Yeah.
It's like I want to say Musgrave, but that's not it. I don't think that's it. Yeah, look it up for me. But anyway, he gets away at the end of the movie with all of his research and potentially with Peter's power dampening chip. We know he leaves one of those in the jail cell that he was at. So it's possible that they have the technology now to make a mutant suppressing gene or to suppress the mutant gene, which if the X-Men know that Spider-Man created this device, then I could see them coming after Spider-Man, maybe in a kind of like Days of Future Past, in like a time travel scenario where they have to go back and fight a younger version of Spider-Man before he makes the device, or just in the future with the full-fledged Avengers having to defend Spider-Man from the X-Men.
Bill Metzger.
Musgrave is Metzger. I was close.
Sure. No, I completely agree with you, though. I think it's short-term versus long-term villains. Short-term, I think that you've got X-Men versus Spider-Man, which is where the Avengers could come to his aid and say, Spider-Man, why did you do this thing that is clearly going to get us, the X-Men, or people with mutant powers, in some pretty serious danger, right? X-Men versus Spider-Man / Avengers. This leads into my number one pick, which you may have heard about at this point.
Yes.
Which is the Dark Phoenix storyline. Long term, once we have X-Men versus Spider-Man / Avengers, then you're going to have Avengers / Spider-Man potentially versus X-Men, or more importantly, Jean Grey when she becomes bad, or Dark Phoenix. Long-term villain of the MCU, short-term hero.
Do you think that they would like have the Avengers try to stop the Dark Phoenix, or would the X-Men be like, we got to do this? This is our girl. We got to make sure she gets stopped, but safely.
Well, so it kind of goes into the whole Dark Phoenix storyline, right? So Dark Phoenix storyline, for those that don't know, again, spoilers for that here too, I suppose, but here you are anyways. Dark Phoenix, Jean Grey gets powers from outer space, like a lot of people do, outer space radiation, very similar to the Fantastic Four. Yeah, the Phoenix Force comes down. She has to deal with a Hellfire Club, which I think is pretty cool, right?
Dustin?
Not Dustin.
Eddie?
No, it's not Eddie, but it's another Hellfire Club. And the
Eddie
Queen
went to
of the Hellfire
space and
Club,
got Fantastic Four powers. We all see the movie.
Everybody does. Everybody from the Hellfire Club.
Yes.
Head of the Hellfire Club is Emma Frost. Another tie-in to bring Emma Frost and these characters colliding together. So you've grimaced.
I was just, I don't think she was in Stranger Things, but that's fine. Move on.
Yeah, good point about Stranger Things.
Just skip it.
Emma Frost.
You brought that upon yourself.
I don't feel like I did that.
You asked.
It's another tie-in for Emma Frost. It's another tie-in for Dark Phoenix. There's a point where maybe we think that Cyclops dies. This is where the Phoenix transitions to the Dark Phoenix, and she kind of loses it. She explodes with power. Then she kind of goes on a power trip where she destroys some suns and destroys some civilizations. Those civilizations are unhappy about that, which leads to an all-out battle on the moon.
Battle on the moon?
Who doesn't like a battle on the moon? So this is where I could see X-Men versus another party, right? In the comic books, it's another party. It's more of the civilization that was destroyed, people coming to their aid or feeling that was wrong, fighting the X-Men on the moon over the fate of the Dark Phoenix or Jean Grey. This could be Avengers saying, shut it down, right? You need to kind of put a cap on the powers of the Dark Phoenix in some way, versus the X-Men who are trying to protect her, to be like, hey, we're dealing with this problem. Don't come after it. We've got this under control.
Yeah, and when you were breaking this down for me, you mentioned like the Kree and the Skrulls.
Yes.
As two different galactic armies that know that Jean Grey is destroying the suns and destroying civilizations on these planets. So they are also involved in trying to stop her as well, which would be a cool tie back to things like Avengers, Secret Invasion, things like that we've already seen these people introduced.
Right, and I like the idea. Go ahead.
Honestly, it could, going even further down the line of the MCU, get us into an actual like Secret Invasion movie arc.
Precisely.
Skrulls coming back and like they see that like the X-Men and the Avengers are being reckless and dangerous with the powers that they have. They could try to take over the world in order to keep them in line. And
that's where like I think the MCU at this point in time, because we've changed storylines a couple times here, has a lot of dangling loose ends. So instead of just being like, we're going to cut all that and move forward, we could tie some of those back. Not in huge ways, maybe what they were meant to be like, but can we go back and tie up little things to say, it wasn't a waste of your time to theorize or look at these things. We do have a tie back in some small little ways. This, I think, could be one.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm down for those top two stories for sure, but any of those stories I feel like the MCU could absolutely utilize to kind of build this world of the mutants that they're currently building and kind of expand on these characters and build out that X-Men that we love.
Clearly a lot of focus right now is on, we've got this early casting of Jean Grey, Emma Frost, Cyclops, all together kind of around the same time. I think that those are going to be, it seems like your core moving forward. We don't know. We've already got established X-Men that are going to be in Doomsday, but you're looking at a next generation that's going to carry you into the mutant saga that happens after Secret Wars. Feels like we're trying to build that. So just looking at specific storylines that include all three of them, there's a lot of really cool source material. I think we could be seeing any one of those in the near future.
Yeah, I would love to come back to this episode post Secret Wars as well and just kind of see like, okay, now that we know how everything's shaken out and how everything's reset and the MCU stands as it is, where could we take these storylines, or how could we bring these storylines into the fold now? It'd be really interesting.
What do you think we look like when after Secret Wars?
Same as now. I'm tall, you're short. Both have great mustaches, probably decked out in denim.
There's only one place you're going to find out, and it's right here on the Multiverse Mustache podcast.
That was really good. Do you want to run that again and I'll cut the first part?
There's only one place you're going to find out, and it's right here on Mustache Multiverse podcast time.
Yeah, so make sure you click that subscribe. And while you're at it, go follow us on Instagram at the Mustache Multiverse as well. We post clips on there, post some other content that's not seen in the podcast, like our little mini games, things like that. So definitely check that out.
And just tell one friend. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Tell one friend you like the podcast. Get them in on this. Get them all in. Everybody, tell 2 friends if you want, but I'm only asking for 1.
And let's get the discussion going in the comments. What storyline from the X-Men and from Jean Grey specifically would you like to see? Is there anything we don't know about yet that you can share in the comments down below? Let us know. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast, we'd really appreciate it if you left us a review. And I think that's everything that I wanted to plug. Sam, any more plugs?
Yeah, if anybody has any connections at Marvel and just wants to ask what happened to my audition tape for Cyclops, I'd be really interested to see if there's any notes and something I could do better for next time, or what the overall impressions were.
All right, you heard it, Marvel. Get back to this man. He worked really hard on that tape.
All right, let's whip on out of here.